Okay, the purpose of this video is twofold. First of all, we have a lot of students out there that can't do their shadowing or their level 1s or level 2s. And secondly, we have a lot of therapists right now that are having to do teletherapy, and you're limited to whatever the client's family has in their home. So there may be some ideas in here that you could use. A couple of them were in a previous video that I made, but I wanted to go over some others. So if you have a smaller child and you are trying to get them to isolate their index finger, putting a treat of some sort into an ice cube tray. This one is a round ice cube tray, but they can be the square traditional kind. That's a good way to get the isolation of the index finger going. It's a great activity for that. In a previous video, I had some pink rollers, and this is a really great eye-hand coordination activity, fine motor activity, just taking them apart and putting them back together. Lots of great little skills, and it's kind of novel. Kids haven't usually seen this, so I've never had a kid not want to do it a few times. I also mentioned this in another video. I had some little cups, so you can build designs and ask the child to build the designs using regular solo cups. These are the mini little shot glass cups. Anyway, this is a really fun activity too. Again, I had mentioned that. Here's another one that a parent could make for you if they have a small container that has holes in it. Of course, the holes are going to be different sizes. The Parmesan cheese holes are really good to poke pom-poms down into. This is some sort of probably like it's not, I don't know, some kind of steak seasoning, I think. And straws, just regular size straws are great. Some containers have smaller openings, and stir sticks, like you would use for coffee, those little straws are good for those. Here's another picture of something I had mentioned in a previous video. I have a scissors video. This is really good for helping children not turn their scissors over when they're cutting. Muscle memory and remembering how to do something, it takes, I think, there was a research article, maybe 500 times. So if you've got a really serious pronator, you're going to want to have them cutting like this a lot to help reinforce the proper way to hold the scissors. This is a fantastic activity that one of my coworkers did. What this is she had a bunch of dinosaurs. She took pictures of them and laminated the photos, and she made a great matching activity. You could do this with McDonald's toys, any little toy. You could, little princesses. I'll try to get closer so you could see. All of these photos are mine. They're in my occupational therapy treatment ideas and information group. I will share a couple that are not mine exclusively, but I always tell people to look in the photo section. Great ideas in there. This was a little girl I was working with. What she's doing, I mentioned in another video, throw out those puzzle pieces and have the kid go retrieve them. This is not puzzles. She's actually, there's a really great Doug and Melissa sandwich making game, and it has pictures of a piece of bread with something purple and then something yellow, and it's like bread, cheese is yellow, and then purple is the grape jam. And what she's doing here is I gave her a picture card of that activity, and she's going out and she's getting the items that are needed to match the picture of the sandwich. So this activity is doing a lot. She's following directions, paying attention. She's getting some sensory input. She's constructional praxis, having to look at something and replicate it. So this is a really good activity. One of my favorites. Here's another one I came up with. What I did was here, this is a kind of an older child. He was 7 or 8, very smart little guy. I taped cards to the wall. So those are playing cards. And you could also do this with adults and have them, I put a piece of tape on the floor, and I had him stand in a certain spot, and I would call out numbers. I would call out like a 2, a 7, a 4, and he would have to bend and reach And again, he had to stay behind this line. To make it more of a cognitive activity, you could also say, okay, find me 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 of spades. Or, I mean, there are so many things you could do with this activity. You could even have them sitting on a therapy ball, leaning forward. I love this activity. Here's another one that I used to do quite a bit. It is a pool noodle with a golf tee. And I'm letting the kid use a plastic hammer that looks like a real hammer, but it's plastic. They really love this. It's giving them a lot of input, that crunch of that styrofoam pool, or whatever it's made out of, pool noodle, and they're getting the resistance. So this is really a great activity. Kids seem to like it too, because again, it's something they haven't seen over and over. This is not my picture. This picture came from a place, this website where I am PRN and used to do quite a bit of work. This is a fantastic idea for lower extremity dressing. So this could be used with adults. They have these little plastic, stretchy, round, they almost look like the keychain things. And they're having them just practice putting them on their feet, putting them around their ankles. Really great activity, especially if you're in a hospital and, you know, a lot of times they don't have clothes, as we know. Really good activity there. Can be used with kids or adults. This is what I call the grand prize game. I used to watch the Bozo show, and he would bring the kids up and line up a bunch of buckets and have them throw balls into each bucket, and the farther they got, they won more of a prize. This could also be used with adults. You could also take a fishing rod with a washer and have them cast into each bucket. That would be a really great activity too for adults. Either way, with a beanbag, with a ball, with a ping pong ball that might bounce out, and also with the fishing. Here's a great springtime activity that I made a few years ago. It's a picture of one. This was my model. But it's marshmallows, pipe cleaner, and Fruit Loop type cereal. Really good for just fine motor, bilateral coordination, eye-hand coordination. Really great little activity there. Easy, cheap. This could be a teletherapy if the parent happened to have all of these items. They might not have pipe cleaner, but we might be able to come up with something that's flexible that they could use. Homemade activity, another great activity. One of the reasons when I first started the group 10 years ago, we have a lot of people in the group that are from countries where there are not a lot of resources. So anything that you can do that's homemade, handcrafted, that they can replicate, that can benefit them, they love. And I think I saw this in another group, maybe the recycling occupational therapist, I'm not sure, but it's a paper towel cardboard. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit. And I wrote capital letters on it, and then wrote capital letters on little round stickers. So they have to match the sticker to the letter. You could do uppercase, lowercase. You could grade it, make it harder. Lots of things you could do there with this activity. This was mine. I just made this out of a Cocoa Pebbles box. It's a homemade puzzle. Someone posted this idea not too long ago in my group. It was a different puzzle. It was a different cereal box. But these are great. So again, if you're doing teletherapy, maybe a parent could help you out and do this. Also have another couple of teletherapy ideas that are not involved in the slideshow. So one is Q-tips. Most people are going to have Q-tips laying around. You build something with the Q-tips, and then you ask the child to build with the Q-tips. Another activity that you could do is using a spray bottle. Now, of course, this is a chemical. Windex is pretty mild, but you probably wouldn't want the kid using anything that had any type of irritant in it. You could see if the parent had an empty spray bottle, or if they had one that was almost done that they could empty out, and you could have the child maybe write with shaving cream on the window, draw shapes, and then work that nozzle, that spray action for strengthening. So I think you could get a little bit of, actually a lot of good work there with a spray bottle and just with water in it, and then doing like shaving cream on the window. So anyway, those are just a few ideas. I hope that helps somebody out.